So, hello everyone, and welcome back to STW Sports. I'm host Samuel Wright, joined by Hadi, and we're going over the Premier League weekend review. And Hadi, we started on Friday evening, Brentford 2, Watford 1. A big win for the Bees, who moved into the top half of the table with this win. But for Watford, disappointed after being 1-0 up to let this go, really. But again, big win for Brentford.
It was a big win for Brentford. I think Watford had a very good game against Chelsea, which made me think they might actually pick up some few results. After they beat Brentford, but Brentford were all over them. They had more possession of the ball, they had more shots, and evidently they won the game and got all 3 points, even when Watford had the lead.
Do you think for Watford, though, are you expecting them to be very much in a relegation battle under Claudio Ranieri?
I think they'd be around there, but I don't think they'd get relegated. Honestly, I don't think they'll get relegated, especially with Emmanuel Dennis being on fire right now.
Well, that was the game on Friday. We're now going to talk about Saturday's games, and we started with Manchester City versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. One of the most bizarre red cards you're ever going to see from Raul Jimenez's point of view, but in the end, City did get a 1-0 win. Again, the game kind of turned really on the Jimenez red card, you'd imagine.
Yeah, first of all, I think that from Jimenez, it was stupid. What was he doing? Just let him pass the ball and then get on with the game. He kind of asked for the red card to be given to him. He got a yellow card seconds before. He's let it go. He's being stupid, and he cost the game. It cost his team maybe a draw because it was 0-0 at that point. They got a penalty, and Man City won. You never know with Raul Jimenez, who I rate as a striker. I think he's a very good striker. He could have got something for them, but him being stupid, him not thinking, cost them the game, I think.
Yeah, as for Man City, they're already starting to hit form, currently sit top of the Premier League. Do you see them slowing down anytime soon, or do you think this season they're maybe not as good as recent years?
I think there's some games, because they don't have a proper number 9, in some games it will catch up to them. But I think as the whole season overall, they will not slow down. Man City are very good.
Also, we're going to touch on the 3 o'clock kickoffs now on Saturday, and the first game we're going to speak about is Chelsea versus Leeds United. A thriller, really. 5 goals, 3 penalties, a very eventful game. Chelsea, after being very solid defensively, all of a sudden are showing a few frailties at the back, but they got there in the end in this one, and Jorginho, a very calm penalty to win the game in the 94th minute.
I honestly didn't think we played well this whole game. I'm a Chelsea fan. I don't think we played well at all. I think Leeds probably deserved a draw from that game, but it shows that when you have good players, in some moments they will get you through. I think the first penalty, it was stone cold penalty, like for Leeds. Marcus Alonso made a mistake. I think for our first penalty wasn't a penalty at all. I think it was quite harsh on for Leeds. I thought it was soft, but I think because he went through the man as well, it's why it was given. And I think for the second penalty, it was also very soft. But I think because he went from behind is why it was given. Joe Gallagher, when he came on, he scored a goal, so well done to him. But I think as a performance overall, it wasn't good enough. I think we played better. We definitely deserve something from this game. And I think if we continue performing like this, I don't think we'll win the league. I think if Chelsea want to win the league, we'll have to get our act together, because like you said, we were not conceding at all. Suddenly we were conceding 2 a game now. We conceded 3 against the net. We conceded 1 against Watford, 1 against United, 3 against West Ham, and now 2 against Leeds. I think because our midfield is so weak right now, it's like when we have Kante Kovacic, I think we will concede less. And after when we get Ben Chilwell back, I think our whole balance of our defense and midfield will be stable. But now I think we're getting very overrun in our midfield, especially with Jorginho being he's not the best runner, is he? He's very slow. So I think we've been overrun, being outstressed in the midfield, and that's why we're conceding a lot of goals.
Yeah, big win for Chelsea in the end it was. But now we're going to speak about Liverpool versus Aston Villa. Of course, this game was very much built around Steven Gerrard returning to the club. A 1-0 win for Liverpool. Not the most convincing performance, but they got the job done in the end.
Yeah, Aston Villa had 2 chances to even equalise. Liverpool were obviously the better team, and they should have, and they were the deserved winners. But Aston Villa, they were good defensively. Apart from that Tyrone Mings mistake, he didn't need to go foul him. You stay with Mohamed Salah, and I don't think they would have scored. And also at the end, Aston Villa had a few chances that could have went in. But obviously that shows that how class Liverpool are. They have so many good players. Their defense is very good, and their attack with Mohamed Salah being probably arguably the best player in the world right now. Yeah, I always thought they were gonna win, but obviously I wasn't the biggest fan of Steven Gerrard, but what he's doing with Aston Villa like in a few games, he might honestly do something with Villa if he stayed with him for a few years. But I think was because Aston Villa should have not made that mistake, and they should. I would be happy with that performance from Aston Villa if I was an Aston Villa fan, and I would look forward to the next game because Liverpool are giants, and they were probably one of the teams that could honestly win the Champions League and even the Premier League. So it was a good performance from Villa, and obviously Liverpool are the title contender. They'll be happy with the win.
Yeah, and now we move on to Arsenal versus Southampton, a 3-0 win for the Gunners. Again, this was quite comfortable, really, but Southampton, it very much looks like they're going to be in a relegation battle this season.
Yeah, like for me, like Tino Livramento, I think he probably arguably been the best player this season. He wasn't good that game. I also think that if you look at the shots and chances created from both teams, it was pretty much even. But I think that after Southampton, they created a lot of their mistakes. Like a lot of bad defending from Southampton led to the goal, led to them conceding because Southampton had numerous chances to score and they didn't take it. And Ramsdale has been very good, so good for us since he been starting for them. And I think if Southampton would defended better in that game against Arsenal, apart from the first goal, I think the other two could have been prevented. And I think if they were defended better and took one of the chances, that could have been a different result for Southampton. But I know you're an Arsenal fan, Sam. I don't think you'll get top four. I think the fact that you lost against Liverpool 4-0 and then you lost against Everton for being in bad form, it shows your team is like up and down. It's never stable with Arsenal. It's gonna go up and down. You'll win a few games, then you're gonna lose a few, then you'll win again. It's like because Arteta is not like manager. He has shown some promises, some area of his game. So like this season, like at start, he was like the first 3 games he was like bottom of the league. Then you're now fifth, aren't you? So he has shown as like some stage when he would be an Arsenal manager that he has promise, he has potential. But I think as of right now, for Arsenal Football Club, I think you probably need a manager who stables your club, who's a proven manager, and then you can look back at Arteta once you get more experience in a different club, and then manages you again. But I think if you want honestly fight for Champions League places, as maybe even Europa League places, I think probably need a look for a new manager because I don't think Arteta, even though I want to say he's like an awful manager, I don't think he has much experience to stable your club and get the best out of every position from your team.
Yep, and then we move on to the late game on Saturday. Norwich City 0, Manchester United 1. It wasn't convincing for Man United, but again, they did get the job done. But a bit of a concerning display, really. But Norwich, they are proving to be a much more difficult outfit to play against under Dean Smith.
Yeah, honestly, since Dean Smith came, it's been a different Norwich team. They've been playing better. They could honestly easily, they had a few chances, especially the Ozan Kabak header after they win one toward the end of the game. That could have been made it 1-1 and Norwich would have got something from United. But obviously United, when they have Ronaldo, you could always count on Ronaldo. Like I think he's the best player in the world, in my opinion. I prefer him over Messi. When you have Ronaldo, you could always count him to get you through those situations. But United, they were definitely the better team, but they were very wasteful. They were very wasteful up front. Especially, and Ronaldo also missed a sitter as well to make up 2-0.
Yeah, concerning for Norwich, the lack of goals is certainly something. But we'll move on to the Sunday games now. We started with a pretty dull 0-0 between Burnley and West Ham. Burnley are actually only lost one of their last 9 league games, I believe, but a lot of them have been draws. As for West Ham, it's a bit of a slip up for them in their race for top 4. A bit of a forgettable game really at Turf Moor, this one.
It was very boring as well. It could have honestly went either way. It was like end-to-end football. Burnley could have nicked you 1-0. West Ham could have nicked you 1-0, but it was a stalemate. West Ham, like this kind of game, if West Ham wants to honestly challenge for top 4, they should be looking at this game. Okay, we need to win to pick up momentum. They just beaten Chelsea 3-2. They have a Burnley. Okay, we just beaten Chelsea. Let's have more momentum now from that game. Beat Burnley, but they didn't. So like they're not consistent with the results in the Premier League. the good thing for West Ham now, they're through to the Europa League knockout stages now, which West Ham fans will be happy about being in Europe. But I think if they're honestly looking forward to being in the Champions League, I think they should look at top four, because now you've got Barcelona in the Europa League as well, which I think that now they're probably going to win the Europa League. So which makes West Ham to get into the Champions League places, even though they've got a good squad. I think it's probably more recruitment in January, and I also think need to be like more consistent with the results in order to for them to get top four.
Yep, and then we move on to another relegation battling team, Newcastle. Unfortunately, they could not build on that 1-0 win against Burnley. 4-0 to Leicester. I mean, Leicester haven't been having a good season, really, by their standards. Obviously, out the Europa League as well. But they look very much back to their best here. And James Maddison as well, very much back to his best. And a big win for Leicester, but a crushing blow for Newcastle's survival hopes.
They were rampant. Leicester was so good this game. Like, maybe at the start it was like kind of equal. Like, Newcastle had their chances, but they didn't take it. But Leicester, whenever they like went off front, you think, okay, they're gonna score now. They're gonna score now. They're gonna score now. They look so good, like in the transition from defense to attack. That was probably one of the better games I've seen, because before that they haven't been in the like best of form. They should have lost to Leeds. They lost to us 3-0. Like they haven't shown what Leicester were from like last year or the year before that. But that game also showed Leicester at the best at what they're capable of. If they want to even, I don't think they'll get top four now, definitely not. But I think if they want even challenge for Europa League places, maybe even Europa Conference League, they need to build up on this win, get some momentum, go on a like winning streak, and then maybe go from there. But on like Leicester, because I rate Leicester team, their midfield I think is one of the best in the Premier League. I think Leicester should be doing much better than what they are right now. But and hopefully this win should take them forward and take them up the Premier League table.
Yep, and the final game of the weekend was one that interests you, actually, because one of your players on loan had a great game in Crystal Palace 3, Everton 1. Conor Gallagher, I mean, stole the show, really. First goal, and then that last goal, sensational strike. And,
amazing goal.
Would you like to see him back at Chelsea?
He said to himself, I think he said to Rio Ferdinand, he wants to come back to Chelsea, and I think he will next season. I think with Saul being awful, like he's not performing, like whenever he plays, he's probably been the worst player on the pitch. Barkley will probably leave. I think we'll sell him. Now we've got two players left. I think our next midfielder for next year will be Conor Gallagher, Kante, Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, and Kovacic. I think Billy Gilmore will go out on loan next season again. And I think maybe like the year after that, we'll either sell Kante or Jorginho and then get Gilmore in. But Conor Gallagher is incredible this season. He's been amazing for Crystal Palace. The best player by a mile. That last goal was one of the goals of the season. And he even scored against City to be City 2-0. Conor Gallagher has been incredible. I thought this might end up in a draw. Because I like Everton just beat Arsenal. I thought that might have them gain some momentum, but obviously didn't. Crystal Palace are a good team. They have got some few good players, and I can't wait to see Conor Gallagher in midfield with Mason Mount, Kante, Jorginho, Kovacic. Because that midfield is going to be scary, especially with how he's playing right now.
Yeah, as for Everton, obviously Rafa Benitez as a former Chelsea manager, do you think he's on borrowed time now? Do you think that he's on his way out with the club?
Yes, honestly, I think he's on borrowed time. I think that the fans don't like him. Obviously, either like Liverpool fans like him. Obviously, Everton, Liverpool, you got the whole rivalry there. Everton fans already didn't like his appointment, and then obviously at the start of the season they were doing well, and then after that shows okay they're doing well. Maybe the fans will start to back the manager, but right now they've been awful run. I think they won one in the last I can't remember how many games. I think the last one was against Newcastle, and I don't know how many won they had before that. They've been an awful run. They have been playing well, and Rafa Benitez, I don't like him. I don't think he's a good manager. I don't like him. I'm a Chelsea fan. Don't like him at all. But I don't think he will stay for much longer if he continues this run. Especially with the fans, how they don't like him at all as it is.
Yeah, what about Patrick Vieira, though? I mean, obviously, he's doing a very good job at Palace. Only won 4 games this season, but a very exciting brand of football at Palace, really. Something they haven't really enjoyed for a while, but seems to be playing with a lot of freedom, really. And, of course, Gallagher, I mean, the player on loan from Chelsea, has been a big part of that.
Yeah, I think Patrick Vieira has done well with Crystal Palace this season. I think I think he might be like looking at the Arsenal job in a few years' time, but I think right now he's just focused on Crystal Palace because what he's doing with Crystal Palace is good. Crystal Palace like probably finish in mid-table, but they might even like they might hope to finish in the top half if they continue how they're playing. Because they beat what's it called? Everton. They beat Manchester City. They beat some of like the big clubs in England. So if they continue playing well and picking up points along the way, Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace should look for a very like a successful season this season, and the fans should be looking forward for it.
Yeah, and next up, I'm going to ask you about the title race. Obviously, I know you're a Chelsea fan and you're involved in the title race, but three teams, obviously Manchester City, Liverpool and Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea's recent form has been a bit concerning, but that's only a little patch of form. But other than that, you have been very good. Who are you backing at the moment, really, in this title race? Which team for you looks like the standout?
I honestly don't think Liverpool, but the end of the season, I don't think. I think you got AFCON. I think the AFCON time when the Mane, Salah, Keita, Matip are not playing for Liverpool, that's a massive period for Liverpool. I think if Liverpool can get through that period with wins and they're still fighting and there's not massive difference between Chelsea, City and Liverpool, they could win the league. But I don't think the depth, the squad that is big enough to fight for the Premier League and the Champions League. I think they probably have to focus on one or the other in order to win one. Liverpool squad, first 11, could win the Champions League and they could also win the Premier League. But I don't think they can do both. I think Man City's squad is incredible. If you tell me when we beat Juventus, if you tell me like we beat Juventus 4-0, you think Chelsea will win the league? I would tell you yes. I think Chelsea will win the Premier League and maybe even the Champions League. But after that, we haven't been performing well. So honestly, right now I'll probably put my money or I'll put City as the favorite. But if Chelsea can turn their whole form around and start performing well, I think Chelsea will win the Premier League. I think that by the end of the season, I think it will be between Chelsea and Manchester City. I don't think Liverpool. The probably will still be contending and still be fighting for it, but I think the main two will be Chelsea and Manchester City, and Liverpool will probably finish third. That's my honest opinion.
Just going to ask as well, Hadi, for your Premier League, player and team of the week, please.
For player of the week, player of the week or player of the season?
Player of the week, just this weekend.
Player of the week. What is it? Probably go for Conor Gallagher if I'm thinking about it, because there hasn't been that massive stand-up player between Conor Gallagher and James Maddison, for being honest. Them two players were really good. I'll probably give it to Conor Gallagher, maybe because of my bias, but also his goal was incredible, amazing goal. So I'll probably give it to Conor Gallagher as player of the week.
And also your team of the week as well, please. Which team for you stood out the most?
Okay, what formation would you like me to put? Formation?
Oh no, just a team, just one individual team of the week, as in, which team performed the best this weekend.
Leicester. The fact they won 4-0, that's incredible against Newcastle. Yeah, Chelsea, that win should have been a win. Leeds definitely deserved a draw, maybe even the win. I'd say probably a draw would be the fair result. So I'd say Leicester winning 4-0. Because you look at City, they only won 1-0. Liverpool won 1-0. Manchester United won 1-0. So Arsenal won 3-0. But I think in terms of chances created, I think it was more even between Arsenal and Southampton. I think Southampton made a defensive mistake that led to them conceding goal. I think Leicester probably been the best team of the week, I'd say, for this match day week. I'll go for Leicester.
Excellent. And I know it's a Premier League show, but we are going to talk about the Champions League due to today's incident. I mean, it didn't change too much for Chelsea. They got the same team in the draw twice.
I thought because we got Lille for in the first draw, we got Lille. I thought, what we get Vieira right now, and that screwed us over. We get Lille again. I was so happy. I was so buzzing.
So do you fancy your chances against Lille? Do you confident in that game you can win?
I'm confident. Obviously, Champions League, Lille. One of my favorite players is Burak Yilmaz. Love that striker. It will be hard. It's not going to be an easy game. If we can go back to how we were defending a few weeks ago, we should easily beat Lille. I think, and obviously that mistake should not be happening. Should be happening at our massive organization. So hopefully for the future that doesn't happen again. Yeah, I'm so happy that we got Lille. If we look at Juventus, they got Villarreal, which is a harder contest, and I can see Villarreal knocking out Juventus. If I have to pick an underdog, probably going through, I'll go for Villa beating Juventus because I can honestly see that happening. I don't think Juventus have been good. Even the Champions League, you beat Malmo 1-0. When they beat us 1-0, we had a few chances. They had Lukaku should have scored even when one hit it wide. So even when they beat us 1-0, I don't think they played that well. We were wasteful. Obviously, when we beat them 4-0, that shows how good they are. And they're not that good, Juventus. They're not what they were a few years ago. So I think Villarreal could beat Juventus, I think. And obviously Bayern Munich, Man City. Obviously, you got Atletico Madrid against
Manchester United.
That's going to be a great game. And PSG versus Real Madrid. Them two matches are going to be incredible to watch. So I'm really looking forward to watch them two games. But obviously, with the UEFA thing, I hope it doesn't happen again because UEFA are a massive organization. You shouldn't be doing mistakes like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a very interesting last 16. I imagine some really good ties in there.
Oh yeah.
Final question for you as well. A little bit of an on-the-spot question, this, but if you were to predict where Chelsea will finish in the Premier League right now, where are you saying?
Right now, I would say second. Asked me a few weeks ago, I would say first. But if you ask me right now, because of how we're performing, I'd say second. But I'm going to just predict us to go first because I'm a Chelsea fan. So my heart, if you're predicting from my head, I'm going to say second. If you ask me to pick with my heart, I'm going to go first. So it depends. It depends on how Chelsea perform. This Christmas period for me is very crucial. Because our first game in January, we got Liverpool. And after that, we got Manchester City. And then after that, I think we got Spurs.
Yeah.
So in this period, and that Liverpool and December and January period, wherever we end up in there, I think that's where we'll finish. But if you ask me right now, I think we'll finish second behind Man City.
Also, Hadi, last question as well, a bit of a curveball question. If you're Golden Boot winner, which player for you this season is going to win the Premier League Golden Boot?
Oh, easily, Mohamed Salah. Easy. I thought Lukaku would win it this season, but obviously he hasn't been fighting for Chelsea, so Mohamed Salah, I think, easily runs away with it. I think Harry Kane's got one goal in the Premier League all season, so he's not in the running anytime. If he couldn't play like that, he's not in the running to win the Golden Boot again. So it's definitely Mohamed Salah for me who will win the Golden Boot.
Excellent. Well, that's all we've got time for anyway, Hadi, on the Premier League weekend review. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope everyone enjoyed the show. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Sam, for having me.
Cheers.